Good morning, bright and early, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, that's early for us. I'm going to move this closer. This is kind of far away. So let's see. How's that?
Yeah, that's good.
That's a little better. Oh, this thing always goes backwards to what you think it is. Okay, so we want to talk about laying the groundwork today for this whole sponsoring sprint, this launch. But the thing is, a lot of people have been wondering and asking, what exactly do you mean by this launch? And they're kind of confused by it. Here's the thing. So if you've watched the Eric Worre video on the 90-day game plan, he explains this in quite a bit of detail, but we still have to take his concept and thrivealize it. Everything that he does, we love him. We've been following for years and think he's got a lot of wonderful ideas, but you have to understand that he comes at this from more of a straight MLM model, which is maybe puts off some people in our business, right? But if you take what he teaches and adapt it to our business, it really does work. And as Sherry said yesterday, it really is what the people who succeeded in this business early on did, even though they didn't know it. As we've gone back and started to really study Eric Worre's stuff, it's exactly what people did in this business to succeed. So kind of as you watch his videos, and even if you watch a Darren Kidd, same kind of thing, just take the good, understand the concepts, and then we're going to help you adapt it to Thrive Life, right? Yeah.
The concepts are true. Yep. They really are. Yep. And so if you can just take the concepts and kind of not take his, how do you describe his personality?
Kind of, which one, Darren or?
Both of them a little bit.
Darren's over the top. That guy's, I don't know what he's taken, but I need some of it. But Eric Worre is more even keeled, but still, you know, their careers were in more of a MLM model.
Yeah.
So, wanted to talk about that. Now, talking about this launch, this sprint and this launch, people are confused by that. And to be quite honest, as we watch the videos that he talks about this in, and talked with Holly, Sherry, the Abbotts, corporate, about how exactly we would adapt it to Thrive, here's kind of what we came up with. The concept is that you have a buildup where you gather an inner circle of people. So the first part of it, what he calls the pre-launch, we're calling it the sponsoring sprint. That's really your individual efforts. Right. That's what you're doing to get ready, and then the launch is doing it with your team. Okay, so the April 15th thing that's when we really start the duplication phase of this, and that's when you really see things start to grow as far as income and team. So think of this first part as you are going out finding as many like-minded people as possible to join your team, but you're using that date of April 15th to get them excited and say, hey, I want you to be part of my inner circle so that we're going to really launch this thing on April 15th, and I want you to be part of that, and I'm going to help you do it.
And the reason why we did this way is because back in the day, that's exactly what all of us newbies were working towards. They did it like this official launch at Thanksgiving point, but we sprinted up into there. We got recognized for our rank or whatever, and then we sprinted some more. But we had a whole bunch of people with us at that launch. And so that's what we're trying to get you all to do, is to mimic what we did back in the day, and that is really make a sprint for April 15th. There was an analogy yesterday in our meeting, and I'd like to share it with you because I could totally relate. I was a gymnast back in the day, and if you can see this picture, right now you are just sprinting for the springboard. This is vaulting. Okay, so what you do is you just sprint like crazy, and you're in this phase right now, gathering your people. But what you want to do when you hit that springboard is you want to get high. You want to be able to be launched. Why? As a gymnast, you want to do a trick in the air and then land it, right? And so that's off the springboard. That's where you want to be, but that's where you want to be with your team, not just individually, but you want to launch. So April 15th is the launch our team.
Yeah, it's the springboard. So don't think of it like we've had questions like, is April 15th, is there going to be some event? Is there going to be some new product launch? Is there going to be a tool announced? No, it's none of that. It's just a date. It's kind of a line in the sand where up until that, we're sprinting towards that springboard. April 15th is when we hit that springboard and we launch it, okay? So just use that date as something to get people focused towards, okay?
Here, I showed you this picture yesterday. This was during my sprinting phase. I reached executive. If you can see that, there's my little piece of paper with executive on it. That's what we're trying to duplicate, is run as fast as you can and hit as many ranks as you can. But then once you hit the springboard, you're going to launch your team, duplicate your efforts. And that's when your team will explode.
Yeah. So if you think of it this way, so October of 2009, we had the first party right here in our house. In April, so what is that, 6 months later?
Right.
Is when this event was. So really, it was the first party at our house was what we called a soft launch. We barely had any products. We didn't have any forms. We didn't have a website. We didn't have any of that. But the people that got involved right in the beginning started sprinting towards that April date. And again, it wasn't so much about the event. It was that date. But most of the efforts, I can say, from Lisa and the other people that were early on in your team, most of their efforts were on their own, right? Everybody was just kind of working in their own little bubble.
Right.
Out, and the focus was on sponsoring. I've got to find as many people as possible to join me in this journey. And that was kind of the marching orders from Jason Norton, right? Hey, we've got to go out and we've got to find people who want to be part of this. Okay, so that was what we did up until the April date. Then April was the springboard. What's interesting, and we talked about this yesterday when we were with Holly and Sherry, is at that event, Lisa hit executive, Sherry hit silver, Holly hit gold. Mostly on their own efforts. Now, it was sponsoring people, but the team wasn't at that point really starting to grow a lot. But what happened is from that April date, within 6 months, all of them had hit platinum. And all of them hitting platinum was because of the team.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
So up until
you can't
then,
get platinum without it too.
Up until then was getting like-minded people. That was the sprint, getting people on board, telling them we're launching something big in April. From April on was the duplication. That's when we get everybody else doing it. And that's where everybody went from these other ranks to platinum. And there were others that did it as well. It wasn't just those three, but there were quite a few people who did it and did it that same way. So that's what we're trying to recreate with all this.
And it was an exciting time. You could see your team building. You could see your numbers growing. You could see your check growing. It was so exciting in those early days. And we want to recreate that with all of you now. And we know that you have the ability to go out there and make a sprint and hit that springboard hard and launch your teams into duplication so that you can actually see the growth of your team and actually see people hitting rank and yourself hitting rank. It's really exciting. And
hang on. So and what we're going to be doing every day pretty much for the next week or two, there are going to be videos on here helping to get going in this, helping to understand what you need to do. Today we're going to be talking about laying the foundation here in just a minute. Tomorrow, I'm going to break down the numbers on what it takes to hit different ranks and to get to different sales team volumes. So I'm going to go into that tomorrow. But for this, the one thing though that a lot of people are thinking probably is, yeah, this was easy for you to do because you were full-time on this. You know, we work at full-time. So obviously you can do it, but I'm just part-time. I have a full-time job, or I'm a full-time mom and I don't have time to devote to it like you did in the beginning. So what would you say to those people?
Well, in the beginning days, and I told my story yesterday, I had these 2 part-time jobs, which two part-time jobs equals full-time work. But I wanted out of those. And I had to actually write on my calendar when I was quitting those jobs. And it was a little bit of a leap of faith. However, I wanted to quit them. I just had the drive to quit them, and I knew that I was going to put all my eggs in Thrive Life's basket. And so I have not always worked this full time. And so what I would do, I sat the family down. Can you give me support? I had two teenage boys at the time, and everybody was in full support of this. However, I had to carve out time in my evenings, in my weekends. It wasn't fun it wasn't fun in that way, because I had to sacrifice, they had to sacrifice, everybody had to sacrifice for this one goal, but it was worth it. That's what I am here to tell you, that if you make the sacrifices and get your plate cleared, that's what I was trying to do, get the plate cleared of other jobs and other things and make this happen. It is so, so worth it to have your freedom and to do what, if you want to go on vacation next week, go on vacation. It's amazing, but you got to get the other people to do what you're doing. And that I think is key. But I did in the beginning, 2 part-time jobs, write it on the calendar, quitting this date, quitting that date, and I made it happen.
I think that's a good segue into what we're talking about today, and that's laying the foundation. And we're going to put a document up. This was done at Leadership, but we've got this document. We're going to put it up in the file section of this group so that you can download it and fill this out. And even if you did it at Leadership, I would encourage you to go through it again and do it. But the first part is your why. And what you really just talked about was your why, right? In the beginning, what was your why?
My why was quit the 2 jobs, make a car payment, and just attract more people to be on my team.
What about me?
Oh, and to get Jeff out of corporate America.
Yeah, that was her goal. And quite honestly, I didn't think that me being able to leave corporate America would ever happen. But I hoped it would. I believed in the business, but I didn't really deep down inside think it could happen. And a couple of years into it, I was able to do that. So that was her why. So really, really important thing is defining your why. The reason is your why is what helps you dig down deep when the going gets tough. When you feel like throwing in the towel, your why is what pushes you through that and keeps you going. And so should your why be kind of like, I want to make so much money?
No, because the money will follow. Your goals need to be, your why needs to be something just really, really deep. And over time it will change. I mean, the car payment thing changed to the mortgage payment and all kind of stuff like that. And that's okay in the beginning. But honestly, our why now is to help other people be blessed by Thrive Life and to change their life, because we have seen it in our life and it's been amazing, and we want everybody to have that. And so you have to every year we reevaluate our why. But they always say your why must make you cry, and it has to be powerful enough to make you change behaviors.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, when they start out, your why is usually kind of inward. What's in it for me and my family? I want to quit my job. I want to make $300. I want to pay for my daughter's dance lessons, whatever it is. But eventually it will turn more outward, because like Lisa said, the money follows. But if you can start with thinking a little bit more outward, or a little bit more about what it can do for your family, and not just, I want to make $1,000 a month or $5,000 a month or $10,000 a month. I want to change our family's lifestyle. That's a lot more powerful, because when going gets tough, it helps you push through it. Now, one thing, a turning point for us was when our why turned outward. I remember it was all about having parties with a lot of people, right? I want 10 people at a party, and I want these big parties. And you go to a party and come home and only 3 people were there, and kind of disappointing. But then I remember Sherry Brower said something. She says, I built my platinum business on a string of mediocre parties. And in reality, that's what most parties are, is mediocre parties. There are not very many parties where you have 10 people. Those are great, but in reality, it's 1, 2, 4, 6 people, right? But the turning point was when our why started to turn outward. It was just about helping other people to live a thriving life, whatever that means for them, whether it's just being able to get the family back around the dinner table or not be able to run to the store as often, all those types of things. It didn't matter if we had 10 people or if it was a one-on-one, right? Because we were helping someone to achieve that. Same thing with helping consultants. Didn't matter if we sponsored 1,000 people or 10 people, we were helping people. And so it's very important to have your wife focus on things like that, not just about the money. So download this file and start to fill this out. The first thing is your why.
Here's the document. It's called Create Your Thrive Life Business Plan.
Yep. What's the second part?
So you're going to develop your why, and then you're going to list 3 strengths that you have. All of you have strengths, so write them down on the strengths section. And then areas to improve. We all know our weaknesses, right? Whether it's, I don't like to get on the phone, or I don't like to talk to people. It's really going to force you to get outside the comfort zone. So make sure you put your weaknesses down, because those are the things you're going to be working on.
Yeah, we went through this exercise at Leadership, and it was really interesting because I realized that my weaknesses are holding back my strengths. So some of my strengths, my weakness is inconsistency. Okay, that's one of my weaknesses. Is I get all excited, I do something for a while, and then I kind of stop doing it, right? And so some of my strengths, which is like doing newsletters, and I do a lot of the back end stuff. Lisa's the face of our Thrive business. She's out talking to most of the people and all that, and I'm doing the back end stuff. But if I'm not doing videos on a regular basis, and I'm not sending newsletters, every week, and I'm not doing these things regularly, the customers, it's not really going to work for them, right? And so I realized that my strengths are doing these things, but my weakness is that I don't do them consistently. So I felt like this exercise was really powerful to help identify things that you need to work on
and sometimes
to grow your business.
My strength, it's interesting when we partnered up, my strengths aren't his strengths. And so he's a very good fit in the business for me, because he does all that IT stuff that drives me crazy, and I just do phone calling, emailing, texting over here and build the business. So we made a good partnership by coming together.
And that reminds me of something we wanted to mention, and that is, if your spouse is not involved in the business, or your partner or whoever it is, get them at least on this group and watching some of these videos so that they can catch the vision of what the possibilities are, because you really need their support. Whether they're actually out there working it and doing tastings with you and calling people on the phone, or maybe they're just doing your emails and your Facebook group, or whatever they're doing, or maybe it's just watching the kids so you can be able to go out and do a tasting. Whatever it is, get them involved in it so they can start to catch the vision.
Let's talk about accountability partner right off. Yeah. That segues nicely into that. Actually, were we going to go over it? This is more.
Yeah, we'll go over that, but because that was kind of on the same vein.
Yeah.
It's really, really important to have an accountability partner, and we want everybody in this group, if you don't already have one, to get one.
Yeah, for sure.
Who could that be?
Oh, that can be your upline, your sideline, your
cross
a friend.
Line. Doesn't have to be on your team.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be on your team. Just somebody that'll kind of hold your feet to the fire. And for Jeff, he was my everyday partner, and so that worked out really well. And he would ask me, how many parties do you have booked this week? How many tastings? How many one-on-ones? What expos are in the area? He would help me find and dig those things up.
And when you do a tasting, a lot of times I would go and sit and watch, or when you came home, we'd talk about it, we'd strategize. Okay, what worked, what didn't. I remember in the early days, you go to do a tasting and you'd do a great presentation and everything, but then you'd forget. At the end, I said, you never mentioned consulting. And she's, I forgot. And
but
so,
now we have a tool that is going to teach you to lead with consulting.
Yeah. So accountability partner is very important. If you look at successful consultants, they all have one. You look at Sherry and Holly work very closely together. Debbie and Monty work very closely together. So it's a very important thing. So we want all of you to, if you don't already have one, to find one. If you don't have somebody that you know that you can get, link up through this group with somebody. It needs to be somebody that wants to work the business like this. and really grow a serious income. You want somebody like that. But then it's somebody that the first thing we want you to do is share your why, your goals, your action plan with them, so that you've made it, you've verbalized it, vocalized it, and have somebody to hold you accountable to that. But then on an ongoing basis, you want to just be talking with them weekly about what's on the plate, what are you planning on doing, how did things go, all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. And the next thing we want you to do is fill out this form, which is called 100 Leads in 10 Minutes. And we'll also post this in the file section of A Million Dreams team. And so
this is in the back office, in the Getting Started program also, but we'll put it in this group.
Yeah.
When you fill this out, I want you to think about, because maybe you've filled this out before, but you're going to need a lot of leads in order to do the sponsoring sprint. I'm going to talk more tomorrow about what it's going to take to get 10 or 20 or 30 new people on your team. But it's very important that you make this list without judging or prejudging what people. They wouldn't be interested, because you'll be amazed at how many people you think wouldn't be interested actually are. Mm-hmm. Like Sherry Brower, or she.
Don't point her out like that.
Well, she admits it, that she had no interest in it, but eventually she came around, and now look at her. Yeah. Or people that you think they would be perfect for this, and then they have no interest, and ends up it can kind of be discouraging. You think, that one person I thought would be golden, and they're not even interested.
Yeah, so
develop this and
everybody.
Do this list as if for every person you could write down, someone was going to hand you a $100 bill. And if you think of it that way, I think you'll be able to come up with 100 or more people.
And Jeff's going to work the numbers for you, so you kind of really need to have this filled out tomorrow. But it gives you kind of these memory joggers: relatives, friends, coworkers, neighbors, church and social groups, people you do business with, people who have invited you to home party and business opportunities before, contacts of your spouse and friends, previous coworkers and neighbors, contacts through your children. So anybody and everybody is a good contact. And if you get this filled out, then you will be able to, Jeff will help you with the numbers tomorrow as we go through numbers and how this is all going to be executed. So homework, create your business plan, and also your 100 leads for tomorrow.
We didn't talk about the back side of this sheet. So the back side starts breaking down your goals into action plan. It talks about your 12-month goal, your monthly goals, your weekly goals, and then scheduling the time to do that. So you can fill this out now if you want, but I think it would be better if you wait until I talk tomorrow about breaking down the numbers of what it's going to take, how many people you're going to have to talk to get so many people on your team, to duplicate it, and all that kind of stuff. So do this first side today, your why and your overall, your strengths and weaknesses. And then tomorrow we're going to get into breaking down your goals. Okay?
Give us some hearts. Give us some loving. If you guys got this all, or are willing to do the homework, we are excited to get you sprinting, get you launched. Remember, you're back over here. This is what you're doing right now. You are sprinting towards the springboard. And sprinting towards the springboard is a lot of action steps. We're going to give you a lot of challenges, a lot of homework, but this is going to be awesome because I've seen it done before, and I know all of you can do it again with me. So we love you guys. Thank you.
Get your team members on this group. If they are interested in growing a serious income, get them in this group. We have a lot of people pending who haven't answered the question. So if you know of people that should be in this group but aren't yet, and maybe that they're waiting to be approved and they need to answer the questions before we can approve them. So invite people, get people involved. Stay tuned for more information on the weekly business overview calls that will start next Tuesday. We're getting that set up. We'll be putting out the links to that here in the next couple of days.
So do you want to explain the business overview? Because some people may be going, what is that? So why don't you explain?
Well, we kind of did it yesterday, but it's basically it's for you. It's a third-party tool that you can use to send people to hear about the business side of this. So someone you've talked to who shows a little bit of interest, and we don't want you to rely totally on this tool like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to sell anybody. I'm just going to talk to somebody and send them to this. The best way to do it is you try to close them. Yeah. This is just an additional way that they can hear from a third party. It'll be Lisa, me, Debbie, Abbott, Monty Abbott, Sherry, and Holly will be rotating through doing this on a weekly basis. And it'll just be short, 20 to 30 minutes. We want to try to keep it to 20, but since we haven't actually done it yet, we need to figure it out. But it'll be just a short overall presentation about the overall food industry, the direct sales industry, why we think Thrive Life is the best option in that, and then break down a little bit about how they can make the numbers, about why our product is the best. Just kind of a quick intro. It would be kind of like an opportunity call, but we don't want to call it that because sometimes that scares people away.
Right.
But the purpose of it is for you to invite people to watch, and then you'll follow up with them. We're not gonna. I mean, we're gonna
send them back.
Try to close them. Sell them on the idea of becoming a consultant, but then we're just going to direct them back to the person who invited them, and so it's going to be important for you to follow up with them. Hey, what'd you think about this? So the best way to use this will be for you to talk to somebody. You could text somebody, email, message on Facebook. Hey, I'm part of this Thrive Life. I'm really excited about it. I'd love for you just to take a look at it and tell me what you think. We've got a live webinar on Tuesday night, 7 o'clock. It's just 20 minutes long. Would you mind going on there, taking a look at it, and then I'll call you afterwards and see what you think. Okay, great way to just get somebody. There's no pressure. Just, it's either for them or it's not. We know it's for everybody, but they can make their own decision. Okay, we're not forcing anybody. We just want to share and invite. Invite and share, right?
Yep.
So that's what it's all about.
Okay, guys, have a wonderful day today. Love you all. Take care.
Bye.